Yeah, something I thought worth mentioning that's important, but also seems kind of obvious as it relates to the alt-right is, it's an actively destructive of mainstream society. What we consider to be acceptable norms of our society, like different people trying to live together, the different races, some level of multiculturalism, whatever. I mean, I think there's an important distinction between saying, you know what, the American experiment, different races trying to live together, desegregation, absorbing the immigrants that come in of different colors. We tried it, we did our best, it didn't work out. What can you do? It's like going upriver. There's a big difference between saying that and actively trying to undermine it, which is really what the alt-right is all about. So that's their bias, and anything that they see, any interracial crime, they harp on that. We just can't have the different races living together or even being in the same country because it's just unworkable, impossible. It's going to lead to the destruction of us or the destruction of others. And it seems obvious, but I think if people don't realize that, even though it is obvious, it's something that they really should realize. You can tell when you look on these people's Twitter feeds, the inherent bias in the way they think. White and black people cannot live together. And don't get me wrong, we have a whole history of struggle and issues with even different white people living together, say in New York City, which was the biggest melting pot. And there's a great documentary about the history of New York. I don't remember the name. It's something like The History of New York. I don't know. It's on Amazon. But huge strife, huge struggle. That was what Gangs in New York was all about, right? That was the WASPs versus the Protestants. So I'm not trying to downplay the struggle at all. And we can't predict the future, exactly what's going to happen. But I think there's just a huge and meaningful difference between saying something isn't possible or something isn't workable versus actively trying to undermine that notion. So it's difficult enough for people of different stripes and colors to get along without killing each other, get along without hating each other at least. And it's not just different races, it's straight people, gay people, pro-abortionists, anti-abortionists. There's just pro-gun people, anti-gun people. There's so many wedge issues where you could divide society. And it's not just the alt-right in this respect. There's a lot of anti-white shit out there. Now, I don't think not many of those people are saying, oh, we can't live with white people because they're too racist. They're always going to take advantage of us. I haven't seen too much of that, but I feel like the messaging on their Twitter walls has the same effect. Just people can't walk down the street without being murdered by whitey, this and that, yada, yada, yada. It's just more explicit with the alt-right that is important to recognize, I think. What they prioritize over if it's workable is they don't want it to be workable, They don't want to see gay people. They don't want to see gay flags. They, really don't want to see other races. They just want to see people just like them. And so to them, even if it did work out and it'd be successful, obviously American integration of different people has been at least somewhat successful. But to them, it's a failure because that's not what they want. They want homogeneity, homogeneous society, and anything less than that, in their eyes, is cringy, it triggers them, is a failure. So I just think it's important to consider if you're trying to understand those people, if you're trying to understand and deal with them.